Hello, Grigsby Gators. It's time to do our daily reading comprehension. We are on week 6, day 4. So let's get started. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Here we go. All right, as I said, we're over here at week 6, day 4. We are to read the passage, and as you read, think of questions about the topic of shale oil. So let's get started. Oops, I didn't want to do that, sorry. Oil from a stone is the name of our passage. It may seem impossible to remove oil from a stone, but that hasn't stopped people from trying. Scientists argue that with new technology and creative thinking, getting oil from a stone may not be as difficult as we think. Of course, it also takes the right kind of rocks. Shale oil is oil that exists in solid form within rock. This unique oil was formed from fossilized creatures from the Tertiary period about 65 million years ago and high levels of heat and pressure. Mining shale oil is much more difficult than removing liquid oil. Workers must take extra care to protect the surrounding area during this difficult procedure. Otherwise, the process can cause erosion and can pollute the groundwater. In addition, shale oil must be heated to extreme temperatures and must be refined even further after it has been pulled from the ground. The refining process, like the mining process, takes a lot of water. This is another serious concern. Although it is hard to collect, shale oil has long-term potential. There's enough shale oil in the western United States to meet current oil demands for about 400 years. Some people say that with enough funding for research, shale oil could be collected easily one day. All right, let's go down to our strategy practice. Write a question about the passage answers. Write a question that the passage answers. See, it's very important to read our sentences correctly or they don't make sense. So write a question that the passage answers, then have a partner answer it. Well, you're going to go ahead and have to answer it yourself since we're doing remote learning right now. So my question is going to be, let me get my pen down here. What is shale oil? Okay, and right here we have the answer, which you would write. I'm not going to. Shale oil is oil that exists in solid form within rock. I guess we can write it. Shale oil is oil that exists here we go in solid form from within rock. All right, so I have asked and answered the question. I found my answer right here. All right, now we're going to go down and we're going to do our skill practice. So here, So here we go back to my mouse. All right. Skill practice. Read each question. Fill in the bubble next to the correct answer. Number 1, what is the purpose of the last paragraph? A, to emphasize that extra care must be taken in collecting shale oil. B, to persuade readers to use less oil. C, to argue that shale oil is too difficult to collect. Or D, to convince readers that research is worthwhile. Now, let's go on back. We're going to start with the last paragraph, which it tells us to do. So let's look at this last paragraph. although it is hard to collect, shale oil has long-term potential. There's enough shale oil in the western United States to meet current oil demands for about 400 years. Some people say that with enough funding for research, they're talking about research, shale oil could be collected easily one day. So let's go back. To emphasize that extra care must be taken in collecting shale oil, doesn't talk about that in this last paragraph. To persuade readers to use less oil, well, it's not doing that. To argue that shale oil is too difficult to collect, no, it wants us to collect it. Or D, to convince readers that research is worthwhile. If you look right here, it talks about enough funding for with enough funding for research, shale oil could be collected easily one day. So our best answer is answer D. All right, let's go down to number 2. How are shale oil and liquid oil different? A, shale oil is more difficult to mine. B, mining liquid oil causes more erosion. C, liquid oil requires more refining. Or D, shale oil is easier to cool. So we're going to have to go up and look. How are shale oil and liquid oil different? If we go back to our paragraph, it looks like it talks, it's right here. If you look right, let me get my pen going. Shale oil is oil that exists in solid rock. Oh, let's try this one. Mining shale oil is much more difficult than removing liquid oil. So that is how they are different. So let's go down to our answer choices and see if we have anything that talks about that. How are shale oil and liquid oil different? A, shale oil is more difficult to mine. Well, it said that. Mining liquid oil causes more erosion. Liquid oil requires more refining, or shale oil is easier to cool. The answer for number 2, of course, is A, because it said it right there in the paragraph or in our passage. Okay, number 3. How are shale oil and liquid oil alike? Now we want to see how they're alike. A, high temperatures are needed to extract them. B, neither is found in the United States. C, more research is needed to collect them easily. Or D, both are found in the ground. So let's go back to our passage and see how shale oil and liquid oil are alike. Let me go back to my pencil here. Let's see. In addition, shale oil must be heated to extreme temperatures and must be refined even further after it has been pulled from the ground. So we know it comes from the ground, the shale oil. The liquid oil also comes down from the ground because it talks about how workers have to take extra care to protect the surrounding area, because we don't want to pollute the groundwater. So it comes from the ground as well. So I think that's our best answer choice. Let's go back. Let's see if I can line that up just a little bit better. Okay. How are shale oil and liquid oil alike? High temperatures are needed to extract them. Neither is found in the United States. More research is needed to collect them easily, or both are found in the ground. That's what we found, that they're both found in the ground. So our answer choice, of course, is D. Let's go to number 4. Which quote best shows concern for the environment? A, shale oil must be heated to extreme temperatures. B, workers must take extra care to protect the surrounding area. C, shale oil has long-term potential. Or D, with enough funding for research, shale oil could be collected easily one day. Well, let's go back to our paragraph and look. And here, where it talks about workers must take extra care to protect the surrounding area during this difficult procedure. If they want to protect the surrounding area, that means, of course, that they are protecting the environment of that area, because they don't want to mess up the ecosystems or anything like that. So let's go with workers, the B. Workers must take extra care to protect the surrounding areas. All right, boys and girls, those are the answers for the daily reading comprehension. That's your red book, week 6, day 4. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. All right, boys and girls, bye-bye.